Oh, you know what? I screwed up. Hook up my mic. Okay. That should be better. I hope that is better. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in. Will someone write something so I can see? Maybe I just want to make sure that I'm seeing if anybody's saying anything, because I don't see anything yet. Hi, Sandy. All right, beautiful. So there was just to fill in. Hey, Brad. Appreciate you, Brad. Thank you so much for your support. You've been huge. To fill in some time, Brian, big supporter as well. Hi, it's good to see you guys. There was also a speaking of Brad and Brian. There was another. I got a PayPal donation today from Bob S. I'm not sure what his username is, so I just have to call it as it is. Bob S. Thank you so much for the PayPal donation. Appreciate you big time. Solo Sinner's been huge. Brad, Brian M. So Brad, that thumbnail actually, Jules has been, who is a member in here. He's been helping me out. He's up in Canada. He's been helping me out with those thumbnails. So I'm learning, but he's definitely been taking care of it so far. Very grateful. Hello, Kirsten. Everything's great. Got back from Big Sur with Megan, and it was such an amazing trip. Forever Young. Hi. I was gonna say I can't read the characters after your name. I thought that was the writing. Hi. So yeah, Big Sur was so beautiful and amazing, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do anything as far as this goes up there. I am glad that I was able to get Megan to sit down with me. Everyone was real nice in your comments, and I appreciate that. Oh, Robert, you're good. Don't stress, brother. California gal, thank you for being here. So there was a comment that asked me. I just wanted to start out with a topic. There was a comment on my most recent video about the masks. There was a comment asking me whether I thought I was born with my character defects or if I learned them throughout my life to protect myself. And it's a good question. You know, I do think that I was born, you know, I think some of the things are natural, like an example of things that I don't think are taught but might just be learned. So my son really likes gummy bears, and maybe 2 years ago, when he was maybe a year and a half, some time ago, when he was 4, I found him eating gummy bears. He hadn't asked. He just like went in the cabinet and got gummy bears and was eating them, which made me think about, you know, where did he learn that? Where did he learn that behavior of like kind of sneaking some gummy bears, like, you know, getting something that he really wanted without asking? And it just made me realize that it's just in him. It's just in us as people. You know, I guess I should speak for myself and my son. We want something, and maybe we think if we ask, we're not going to get it. We go and take it, and then apologize afterward for you know, being deceitful or sneaky. And so I think that relates to, you know, some of my behaviors I think I was born with, but a lot of them I picked up along the way. A lot of the masks that I wore I picked up as, you know, defense mechanisms, and things of that nature. I think most of them were learned. But some were probably, I was probably born with some of them, which, I don't know which are which, but I think I was born with some, but most were learned behaviors and, you know, things to help me get by. See, Brochacho, hi. Switzerland, amazing. Hi from Switzerland. That's so crazy. I've always wanted to go to Switzerland. Hopefully I can, hopefully Megan and I can make it out there at some point. Dobie, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for your support. Artie, another big supporter of what I'm doing. Artie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you big time. And yes, Megan is great. Me and Megan are doing well. We just went to the farmer's market with my son. It was good. We got some fresh fruit. Looking forward to having some of that. I agree, bro, Chacho. And yeah, Brad, you're right. You know, yeah, I agree. I agree. Some people, you know, I think we all have very different masks. Some people don't experience, some people experience different things, and one person's trauma could be an everyday occurrence for someone else that might not be traumatic to them. Everything is relative. It just reminds me of recovery stuff. My bottom, as far as being homeless and things like that, my bottom's very different than, I've heard in a young people's meeting, there was a kid whose bottom was a D on his report card, and the way that his parents reacted to that was his bottom. And at the time, did I judge that? Probably. Momentarily, I was probably, I remember thinking like, man, if only that was my bottom. But it's all relative. People have had it a lot worse than I have, and I think they're all valid. I think in Big Sur, driving, while Megan was driving along a cliff and I'm looking over and I'm scared and uncomfortable, when I was driving and she was looking over there, it was fine. She probably thought it was beautiful. I think perception is everything as far as traumas and masks and how we behave. But that's just my opinion. Brian, subpersonality models. I will take a look at that. I've done some interesting things in therapy before as well. I found CBT to be very helpful for me early on. Cognitive behavioral therapy, that was big for me. Is there anything on anyone's mind? It looks like we have about 30 people in here, which to me is a lot. And I'm finally not holding on to my phone. I have it set up, so I have a little more leeway. But yeah, is there anything on anyone's mind? I'm interested what people thought. So Megan's in here moderating for me in case anybody gets wild. She has to lay down the hammer, which doesn't seem to happen very often. Can I talk a little more about CBT? Man. Yeah, thanks, Brad. Cognitive behavioral therapy. I did that early on in my recovery, and I had done it at some other treatment centers. I haven't done it recently, so my grasp and comprehension of it today and what those practices actually looked like are probably not great because it's been a long time since I did them. I remember it focusing on rewiring my behavior and behaving in certain ways regardless of what my thoughts were. So in the past, my thoughts would drive my behavior. I thought about using, I would get high. I thought about stealing, I would steal. I thought about, I don't want to get caught doing something, I would manipulate. And the CBT kind of refocused to and this might be a poor explanation. This is just what I recall and what I felt it did for me. It focused more on my behavior to change my thinking, because I'm the type of person that will sit and think, and I would believe that if I just think it through, it will change my behavior. And it turns out I'm an opposite type of person. My mind follows my feet these days, today. So, you know, examples. I'm not feeling great. My feet take me to a meeting and I feel better. I don't want to, I'm feeling lazy. My feet take me to the gym. And then my thinking, once I'm there and having worked out, my thinking is then better. So the CBT kind of refocused the process of me believing that my thoughts generated my behavior. It rewired me to my behaviors causing better thoughts, better behaviors causing better thinking. And that's what I remember about it. That could be a horrible explanation of it, like if you Googled cognitive behavioral therapy, that it might say it might say something totally different. That's just what I recall of it. And it was amazing for me because I had been so thought action. I feel sad, I get high. I feel some sort of emotion, I don't want to feel it, I use drugs. Um, and so to rewire that took a long time, and it took a lot of different therapies. That was just one of them. California gal. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up a little bit because I missed Emerson St. John. My birthday was magnificent, and you've been a big supporter too. I really appreciate all your support. And talking trauma is just something that I have experience with, and I feel, it definitely helps me. And if it can help anyone, then it's worth talking about, in my opinion. That's the whole premise, Oops, what did I do? Sorry. Brian M. How do I deal with life on life's terms? Jeez. Brian, I tend to be a big it is what it is guy. If it's one of the things that, that I don't have control over. And I have to be careful with that because I find it is what it is. For me, I can get lost in that. Oh, I have no money. Well, it is what it is. Money will just show up when it's supposed to. No, I need to go work. I'm sad. Well, it just is what it is. I guess today's just going to be a sad day. No, I can do something. Like, I'm responsible for my own happiness. I could do something. I could go for a walk. I could, build magnet tiles with my son. I could sit and have a chat with Megan, or just, if she's sitting watching TV or messing around looking on Zillow, because that's one of her hobbies. Now I can plop down on the couch next to her and, prop her feet up on my lap and rub her feet. Like, there are things that I can do if it's a controllable situation. But if it's something where, I have, because of, through my divorce, I have 50-50 custody with my son. That is what it is right now. There's nothing, I can't immediately change that. So I do the best I can with it. Another is what it is. I'm a big go with the flow kind of guy. I don't, it might be similar to it is what it is, but life on life's terms is difficult. I typically don't like life on life's terms. But most of the time there's nothing I can do about it. So I could like sit and stew over that and miss out on being present with like the people who love me and that deserve my presence. Or I could just, accept it for what it is and appreciate when life on life's terms is actually enjoyable for me. When those times happen, I do my best to soak those in and enjoy that. That's the best. That's the best explanation I got for you, Brian. I hope that makes some sense. David, you've been watching my stuff. Recovery topics help you in your own recovery. NA brother, South Georgia. I had a really good friend in the program from Georgia. I can't remember what part of Georgia. His name was Austin. He was an amazing young kid. We lost him. I think he was only 23. We lost him to an overdose, but he was an amazing kid from Georgia. Sweetheart of a kid, great friend. But yeah, George. He said that Georgia was a beautiful place. Have I done any grounding for stressful California gal? I'm not grounding like meditation, like bringing myself back to the present. I'm not sure what is that what you mean by grounding? Chacho, what do I want? What do you want your channel to focus on and for who as it grows? I want my channel to focus on transparency, honesty, vulnerability, and how those things are like superpowers. And that again, this is my opinion, but you know, Megan talked about it in our interview in our sit down in Big Sur. She talked about when she had first heard the voice note on the dating app that we met on, and it was about vulnerability and how although it is scary, it's really the only, it's really the basis of where things grow from, especially beautiful things. Like for me to know that everything that I, all of the parts that I expose of myself to Megan, knowing that like those could be used to destroy me, but handing them over to her anyway is an act of vulnerability. I mean, at its core, it's incredibly vulnerable. Telling her my flaws and what I'm afraid of and what I hope for my future and what I like and dislike. All of those things could be used really to destroy me. And the act of being vulnerable and handing those over anyway, and then having her not destroy me with those things, the only way that beautiful relationship, that connection happens is by me handing over the tools that could destroy me and getting vulnerable and being honest and saying, hey, you know, this is scary for me, especially because I've done this before and it has blown up in my face, and it obviously hadn't worked out the rest of my life because I was single at the time, dating, you know, going on a date with Megan. So obviously it hadn't worked in the past. So it was a scary thing. But if I hadn't done that, number one, I don't think she would have been interested. But number two, and more importantly, the ceiling, the ceiling at which our relationship could grow would have been very low if I wasn't vulnerable up front and told her who I was and what I was about and what I hoped for and what I was scared of, and my, you know, if I didn't tell her all those things and I didn't hand her all of the ammunition that could kill me, the, you know, it just would have been, the extent of our relationship would have been finite. It would have only been allowed to have to grow to a certain point. But because, you know, not only me, her as well, because we were both very vulnerable and open at the beginning, the, you know, it's boundless the where this can go, and it's been amazing. I hope that I kind of get off on tangents. I hope I'm making sense to somebody. Starting again fresh in a new place help, Kirsten. For me, it did. You know, for me, it did. For me, going to a new place helped. But I know a lot of people who have moved multiple times and it didn't change anything because you bring yourself with you wherever you go. I just needed a new place in order to figure out who it was that I am bringing. You know, yeah, I bring myself with me to all these places, but like, who is that person that I'm bringing with me? I didn't know, and I couldn't find that out where I was from. I had to go to a new place to figure out who I was, but that was just personal. You know, that was just for me. Justin, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Everyone's saying hello to Megan. I love it. How many flashbacks do I suffer? Have I managed? Flashbacks. Well, oops. I used so I don't really have too many. I never know if people are asking about my drug use or my sexual abuse. I'm going to assume, well, I'll tell you both. So, drug use, I don't have many flashbacks. Sometimes I'll have a using dream. Um, doesn't cross my mind too often. Flashbacks of the abuse used to happen regularly. I used to have recurring dreams, or, most people would probably classify them as nightmares. But I've addressed those things in depth, in detail, outwardly to other people many times. And each time I did that, each time I addressed what happened in, gross detail, some power was taken out of it. And I think that power that was taken out of it doesn't lay dormant in my subconscious as much, because I've taken, I've talked about it in so much detail with so many professionals and not professionals, people that I love, close to me, that love me. In doing that, it took the power out of it. So I don't flashbacks. I don't, once in a while, and the way I deal with them, I talk about it. Talk about it with someone, whether it's Megan or Daniel, or I'll just talk about it with someone, my sponsor. Hey, this is what happened. It's not real, but it's making me feel this way, and I don't like that. Is there something I can do to prevent this? But typically, it's just like, no, this is going to happen, and how you deal with it after it happens is really what matters. Because flashbacks happen, and if I were to think, how can I make these stop? I think I would have been focusing on the wrong thing. I just kind of accepted, all right, these are going to happen. Hopefully less often, the more work I do. But the most important thing is, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do in the aftermath of that flashback? Am I going to have a horrible week? Am I going to have to reset, start over in my healing process? No, I'm just going to deal with, I'm going to deal with it and try and move forward. That's the best, and again, that's just me. Acceptance means acceptance. Doesn't mean approval. I agree, Brian. AJ Lugo, hi. Alexander, another big supporter. I love seeing you here, and I'm glad that you caught me live as well. Gandalf, when I say that I love you all, how serious should you take me? I would say, as serious as, so right now I have my son, and I'm here with Megan, and instead of sitting with them, spending quality time, I am here doing this. In my opinion, that is a form of love, sharing myself with you. When I say that I love you guys, I think you should take it as serious as you would like. I do my best to get back to people. Sometimes I'm not a great back and forth emailer, but I'm doing my best. I do try to respond as best I can in a timely manner, but it's tough. But I mean it when I say it. Oh, Brian, you have to go to work. I'm glad you could jump in too. I appreciate you. Happy Sunday to you too, brother. Oh, Frank in Texas is here. Mr. or Mrs. Saad Khan. Hi. Belfast Dave. Yes, love seeing you in. I love seeing you in here, Dave. Gratitude is key for me too. Some days are hard with gratitude. I'm in a group chat where group text where it's a bunch of people every morning that do gratitude lists. And some days I don't write one. Some days I just write, hey, I'm having a tough time today, finding some gratitude. Other days I have a long list, but I at least think about it every morning because I'm in this group thread. So I get to read other people's as well. So it does keep me pretty regular with the gratitude. Matt Allen. Hi. God bless you too, my friend. Robert, did I ever suffer from depression? Yes. How bad? I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 7, I guess. because I would think a 9 or a 10 would be either bedridden or suicide. So I would say maybe a 7. When I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with PTSD from the sexual abuse and as a manic depressive. So, I mean, I had a diagnosis. I took medication. I no longer do. But yeah, I was depressed. I mean, sometimes, yeah, yeah, I was diagnosed with depression for sure when I was younger. Um, these days, not so much. So, I mean, it's doable. It was doable for me to do enough work to get out of that and stay out of it. Marie Anderson, you loved my video with Megan. Yeah, she's in here. She's the moderator. She's here. I know that she appreciates the kind words as well. She's the best. She's much cooler than I am. I'm taller, but she's much cooler. California gal. Let's see. Oh, taking your mind off the situation, focusing on other things. Yeah, grounding. Yes, I do that. I do that. I might not be great at it, but I do that. I try to practice it for sure. Emerson, of course. Thank you too. WTF Brad. Oh, hey, Tom Steele from Seattle, my man. So just going back home to see family and friends change my mood or anxiety. Does it get easier every time? It has gotten easier every time. It's easiest for me, I find, if I go back with a purpose. If I go back home, I need to know where I'm spending the night. Every night that I'm there, I need to know that my buddy Sully can take me to a meeting on whatever night. Like I need to have it planned out. I can't just like go willy-nilly back home because, you know, that's how I was just willy-nilly all the time, and it gets me into there's old behaviors. So going back home did get easier. It does get easier every time. And I find it best if it's planned out and I know exactly what I'm doing, where I'm staying, who I'm going to be seeing. I don't tell a bunch of people I'm coming home. I'll tell a select few, 3 or 4 people, like, so I can have dinner with an old friend each day or something, or go by their house and see their family. Yeah. What is a favorite activity that me and Megan like to do on a date night? Tom Steele. Solo Sinner, I see you, my man. Tom Steele, what me and Megan like to do on a date night. So, food, food is usually involved. Either we stay here and we cook together, both in the kitchen. Um, you know, she typically handles the meat and I handle the vegetables. I usually cut everything up. She just cooks meat better than I do, whether on the grill or in the wok. But cooking together, I would say, is the most common date night that we have. But we really enjoy going out to dinner and that experience of just, not having to do it ourselves and getting to sit and chat and kind of people watch a little bit. We don't take out our phones when we go out to eat. We stay very present. But I mean, we've done other things. We took a salsa. Was it salsa? Was it salsa? We took a dance class that was really fun that we plan on doing again. We'll go on hikes, but I think our favorite thing to do is to share, to break bread and catch up, check in where we're at in our relationship and just enjoy each other's company. I think that's our favorite thing to do for a date night. Being vulnerable is one of the most beautiful attributes any human can display. Belfast Dave. I agree. So much can come out of it. It's just so good. It's scary though. Don't get me wrong. I know it's scary. Holly Huckabee. Holly Huckabee. Happy Labor Day weekend from Texas. Thank you. Happy Labor Day weekend to you. 11 years, August 18th. Amanda. Oh my God. Congratulations. You got me beat by a long time. Don't slow down or I'll catch up. But congratulations. That's huge. I can't wait. God willing, I can't wait for 10 years. I just feel like 10 years is going to be a big deal. Every year is a big deal. Samuel, hey. Did I discuss how Megan dealt with my sexual abuse and trauma? It's not inappropriate at all. Did I discuss how Megan dealt with my sexual abuse and trauma. That's a good question. I mean, so I obviously told her about it right off the bat when we first started dating, and she had questions about it, and I tried to explain the best I could. But she met me where I was at, and I would say was really compassionate and empathetic with what I had been through. She doesn't have personal experience with those things, but she's very good at she's very she feels deeply. So I think she handled it well. I think she handled me pretty well because I came with a lot of traits that she wasn't used to. I think she did well. But no, it's not inappropriate. And again, I'm not sure if that answers it very good, Samuel, but she was very good with, she didn't like handle me with kid gloves or anything. And she also wasn't like, hey man, you're a kid, grow up. She was very compassionate and sweet and loving. And the best, it was handled with her the best that it's ever been handled with anyone else in my life. I think she handled it perfectly. Frank in Texas. Has my teen grooming experience made me homophobic? No, not at all. No, we have a good friend that I met through Megan. No, I love gay dudes. Not homophobic at all. Um, no, there's a big there's a big community in recovery. No, I have a lot of fun. People, so who someone chooses um, to be sexual with, or like who people are attracted to, whether it's same sex, whether if one of my buddies is into grandmothers, if one of my other buddies is it like not really has no effect on who they are as a person, in my opinion. Same sex, opposite sex. I have friends who are celibate. Like, doesn't matter. No, I don't. I don't think a person's morals or values or their character has anything to do with who they're attracted to, and that's just my opinion. But no, it didn't make me homophobic. It made me hate teachers, and it made me hate coaches in general. Like I just kind of, and it made me hate men. But he wasn't, the guy who abused me wasn't a gay man. He was a predator. He was a pedophile. Those are two very different things. Completely different things. So no, not homophobic at all. I don't think. Dobie, topics and themes in this channel deals with a lot of dualities, light and dark, past and present. Revealing lots of heavy topics help me feel lighter. Absolutely. Yes. Sometimes the grooming videos that I make are a little tough just because I have to recall a lot of in order for me to remember some of the grooming, I have to like start back at the beginning and like play the tape through. And then I have to sift through like what's okay to talk about, what actually, what can I talk about without bringing other people into my story who I don't have the time and wherewithal to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm about to tell my story and your name might come up or you might have been in this situation. Do I have your permission? So like I try to keep it to me and to filter through all of the little ins and outs and details to sift through all of that sometimes is strenuous mentally and emotionally, but not in a way where it makes me want to use or makes me depressed or makes me, I wouldn't even say makes me uncomfortable. It's just like daunting sometimes. But doing this in general, does it make me feel lighter? Yes. I enjoy this. I mean, this is how I talk with my friends. Like if you watched me and Daniel's interview, the first one I ever, it's not really an interview, but like this is the stuff that we talk about. This is like, vulnerability and abuse and trauma and recovery and sexual relationships. Like all of these things are just like what I talk about all the time. or going to the farmer's market, or I'm watching whatever TV show I'm watching. Like, it's all the same to me. I'm not really like, hey, how's the weather? What do you do for work? I don't, those things aren't that important to me. Topical crap. I like to know what makes somebody uncomfortable. What's the worst thing that happened to you? How'd you get over that? What did that do to you? Like, oh my God, that happened when you were 10 years old and now you're 40. Like, are there some behaviors that you still wish you could change, but maybe you don't want to look at, or you don't know how to change them? And it has to do with when you were 10. Like, those are things that I find interesting. Um, so those are things I talk about, whether on this channel, whether in my personal life. But yes, this type of stuff does make me feel lighter in the end. Sometimes it's a little heavy trudging, but always lighter. Amanda, everybody with the Amanda love. I like to see that. Thank you, Meg. It was salsa. Yes, we are big beach goers. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the beach. Love hopping in the ocean. Who wears the pants? Artie? Megan does. I would say. I'm more of a shorts kind of guy, so I allow her to wear the pants. No, she luckily they're like it's more of like a onesie, and it's a one size fits all, so once in a while she'll let me throw them on. You know what I mean? But overall, Megan, I would say. Megan owns the pants, and she decides who's going to wear them. But she owns them. She has the pants. She let me throw them on once in a while. You know what I mean? But I would say Megan. She might. No, she would say herself too, for sure. I'm glad she let me answer that, and she wasn't just like me. But yeah, her for sure. I would say. Heck yeah, Alexander. Yeah, that stuff doesn't matter to me. I think everybody is beautiful in their own way, and I just can't imagine someone judging me based on who I am attracted to. It's just crazy. Unless it's like, you know, unless one of my friends came over and was like, hey man, I'm really attracted to your dog. And like, no, that's not okay. Animals, children, that's not okay. But like two grown adults, doesn't matter what your sex is. To me. To other people, obviously. The world's a crazy place. But no, love is love. People are nuts. Robert, she is by far the most beautiful thing that I have ever put my hands on. She's the most beautiful woman that I've seen in real life. She's incredibly beautiful, and she's kind and like strong and passionate. And there's a lot that goes into. There's a lot, and she's not very tall. She's about 5'1" ish, and there's a lot of wonderful human woman compacted into that. I'm very, very lucky. And yes, she's a lot more beautiful than I am. And I'm grateful for that. It's amazing. It's amazing. Belfast Dave. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to create a good space for everyone. Brad, after I drop a video about the abuse, do I have a routine that helps me clear my mind? That's a good question. I'll usually I don't have a routine after I make those grooming, like the heavier videos. I don't have a routine. I'll usually watch TV afterwards, if I'm being honest. I'll usually throw something on television so that I can then, suspend reality for a little and jump into what they have going on. Let my subconscious kind of cool down for a little bit, and then I'm okay. But it's not like a hard workout where I have to have like a cool down routine. No, but I would say that typically I will. Sometimes I'll go for a walk in the sunlight, but a lot of times I'll throw something, I'll do something to take my mind off of, so that I don't have to think, whether I watch a show or just go out for a walk, um, maybe go work out, but I'll do something that will take my mind off of kind of having to think for myself. I'll do something that allows me to just go on autopilot for a little bit and just kind of reset. Kirsten, being stuck in a triggering environment is damaging. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Nobody should be, I guess I can only speak for myself. I need to consciously avoid triggering people, places, situations. Like it's not, sometimes there were times where I have to avoid family members. There's times where I have to avoid one of my close friends. If they're in like excuse me, if they're in a place that's going to negatively affect me, and they want to stay in that, and they're not open, they're not asking me like, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way, can you help me get out of it? If they're just in a negative mind space and they are like okay there, yeah, I avoid that too. Like, triggers are tough. I know how hard it is for me to handle triggers anyway, so I try to avoid them as often as I can, just so I'm not put in that situation. Like if I was trying not to, if I'm trying not to gamble, I don't go to a casino. It just makes it harder to not gamble. You know what I mean? It's just, I would just not even put myself in a situation where gambling could happen. So if triggering is tough for me, then I try to put myself in situations that are trigger free. But things are going to happen. I mean, you can be in a safe place and something could still happen. So it's tough. That's a tough one. It's a tough one. Frank in Texas, I like to think that we do make a great couple. Thank you so much. The homes, it's tough if the home is a trigger. It's a hard thing, but it's a hard thing, period. You can change it. Everyone can change it. It might be uncomfortable, it might be scary, you might not like what that change looks like, but everything is able to be changed, in theory. Meg is pointing out, I missed a question. Do I still experience triggers that take me back to the sexual abuse? Yeah. Sometimes, I'm trying to think. Yeah, like there's a certain smell of there's like this certain vanilla-ish scent that during the abuse, like the massages, there was like an oil used that was like vanilla something. I don't know what it was called, but I recognize the scent when I come across it, and that smells are like big. I think it's just like a proven thing. Scent it has a huge impact with memory, and so yeah, um, that sometimes smells can trigger me. Um, randomly, random things can. It's almost like it changes. Because like when I was younger, if I was experiencing something sexually and I closed my eyes or like tried to just like totally relax and I closed my eyes and I wasn't focused on what was happening, I would flash back to stuff like that. Doesn't happen now. So over time, the things have changed. My triggers have changed. But yeah, there's not a lot scent. There are some scents that trigger me, but I'm pretty good at recognizing like it's just a feeling and it's based on whatever sensory thing is happening that's making me think about that, and it doesn't really affect me too bad. Or if it does, I'll speak about it. Do I think as addicts we have anything addicting personalities that we can get addicted to anything easily? I don't know about other people, but me, yeah. Like before drugs, I was addicted to video games, and then sports, and then girls, and sugar. Like, I don't know if it's a. I don't know if it's a personality trait per se. What I have is like, you know, people call it different things. I have been taught that it is a disease that manifests itself mentally, physically, and spiritually. Some people believe it is, some people don't believe it is, some people think you're born with it, some people think you can pick it up on a street corner. Like, I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know, but I know that I can get addicted to anything. Anything, for sure. Solo sinner. All right. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned that when I was active in my addiction, I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. Yeah, I went like 2 years without looking in a mirror. Maybe longer, but yeah. Get that part of reflecting being unrecognizable. Was the outward physical toll the habit was taking on your body related to my last video with masks willfully removed? Do you ever catch glimpses of those ghosts now? Man, geez Louise, that is a very precise question. So it's this might sound weird, but something that makes me see something that makes me see myself in the light, like when I was using, is when I lose weight. So I have a really hard time putting on weight and like keeping it on. I have to eat a lot. I have to work out often. Um, but if I'm not careful, I can lose weight pretty quickly. And um, not too long ago, like a few months before I had met Megan, I was down to about 160 pounds, and I just didn't like the way that I looked. I was too thin, and I was going through stuff. I was going through a divorce. I wasn't eating. I was sad. Whatever was happening, I wasn't going to the gym. But looking at myself in the mirror at that time, and looking back at pictures now, I don't. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me see what I used to be. Um, I don't know if that. I don't know if that answers the question. That's such a physical toll I was taking on my body. The only thing I can think of is when I'm too thin. That's the only thing that comes to my mind is when I'm too thin. It reminds me of things that I don't like. Scents. Dobie. Learned recently. Yeah, smells are usually the most universal as far as triggers. Yeah. Yeah, smells are very, very intense for me. Maybe it's not for everybody. Solo sinner, let me know if I answered that question properly. That's a tough one. That was long. And again, not the brightest guy in the world, so maybe I missed the gist of that. But I think the only thing I can think of is like being too thin. I can't believe there's still 40 people in here. This is outrageous. I appreciate everybody that's in here. What's today, September 1st? Amanda, you have a wonderful day. Congratulations again. Keep up the great work, and I hope to see you again in here. Can anyone else think of anybody else have anything on their mind? I wish I understood that question better. Solo. I answered as best I could. I'm not sure. We got some really good stuff from the farmers markets as far as like peaches and watermelon and plums and some other melon. I'm really excited to get into that. Meg asked a question. Since massages were part of my sexual abuse, do I avoid them now? No, I enjoy massages. Today, there was a time where, you know, there was a time. Yeah, there was a. I don't think this is just a me thing, but as far as massages go, because I see memes and stuff like about a guy asking a girl if he wants a massage, and it's really just to like try to get to sex. Um, I think the massage thing made my brain attach massages with sexual stuff. Um, maybe some people attach it with that anyway because it like feels good, but yeah, early on, I remember it wasn't. I didn't like getting massages, but like today, no, I love massages. Me and Megan sometimes will go over to Santa Monica. I wish I had the money to go all the time. But no, massages I like a lot. Massages are great. My feet are very ticklish, so I don't. I do my best with like you know the occasional pedicure and stuff. I have a hard time with the bottoms of my feet, but no, I really enjoy massages. Massages are wonderful, especially I guess it also depends on where the massage is happening on my body. Like big fan of back massages and like lower leg, like calf and foot. It's amazing. But no, I'm good with massages. But I did have a problem with it. Yes, I was able to overcome that. Solo Sinner, asking more of a psychological reflection, not so much the physical. I can't think of anything that I can't nothing comes to mind. But I'll have to reflect on that question. I'm gonna have to reflect on that question because there's got to be something. Artie, can I share more insight with my breathwork playlist? Oh man, okay. So that was I got I've had some important people introduce some important songs into my life. Hutch was one of them. Hutch introduced me to a couple of the tracks that are on that breathwork playlist. So I created that playlist while I was in the I want to say Redwoods. I was in treatment and I didn't have like a streaming music service. So the only way that I could really listen to music was to go on YouTube and to like hook my headphones up and play the video on YouTube and I would listen to the songs. So I made a playlist while we were in the Redwoods. I made a playlist to do breath work on my own, but we ended up it was a couple of us, but at the time I had headphones in and it was just like, near a river and so I just put some songs together, songs that kind of bring up like they're songs that bring up a lot of emotion for me, which is what I was trying to do with breathwork, and I guess this might be worth saying. I don't know what everyone's individual focus is when they do breathwork. Mine was to heal and to like purge some stuff that maybe I didn't know how to get in touch with verbally or with thought. So through the breath work, I was able to release some stuff. You know, I cry. A lot of my breathwork sessions had crying, as part of it. Like and not in a sad, not in a very positive way, like in a very releasing way. So my focus with breathwork was to put songs on there that, brought up heavy emotions, whether, and whatever that, and those songs are just what I chose, whether it was sad emotions or loving emotions or, gut wrenching, heartache, whatever it might, or like, relapse, whatever the emotions were, my breath work was focused on purging stuff either that I didn't know how to get in touch with or that I didn't know how to verbalize. And that's what my breathwork playlist is based around is music that, you know, brings up emotion. I hope that answers that question. I look very intimidating. I'm not a very intimidating guy in real life. I don't think. Nothing to be afraid of. I'm easygoing. Nothing to be afraid of, Robert. Suffer from dissociation from Kirsten. I dissociated during it. The third time, that last massage thing. I mean, yeah, I had an outer body experience during that, and there were some times soon thereafter actually where like I don't know if I dissociated, but I was like kind of catatonic, not talking. Although I heard people talking to me, my abuser was talking to me. We were alone, like in the middle school after hours, and he was talking to me, but like I wasn't hearing him. And I remember him getting really worried and thought he might have to take me to the hospital because like I was just so out of it, like not. I don't know if that's dissociation, but yeah, I dissociated during the abuse, yeah, for sure, but not afterwards too much. What kind of music do I listen to while working out? Brad, I wish I had a better, answer to that question. But honestly, when I work out, I either am listening to the Bible Project podcast or I listen to, it's not like weightlifting music. I'll listen to, there's an album, the most recent album from Third Eye Blind. It's like an acoustic album. I'll listen to that. Prince, it's I'm usually listening to a podcast if I'm being honest with you, and it's usually the Bible Project, because I'm trying to learn. Um, yeah, I'm not. I don't listen to like really upbeat or like hardcore music like most people I think do at the gym. I don't. I think I'm a little different. Belfast Dave, do you think we can make recovery even more difficult and tricky for ourselves? Yeah, yeah. The only, not the only, most of the difficulties and complications in my life, I create. Most of them, whether it's through procrastination or overthinking or complicating things. Yes, I'm speaking for myself. I, I have to like really focus on getting out of my own way a lot of the time because I will overthink anything. Megan will attest to that big time. Hey, do you want this or that? I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. Well, yeah, like I indecisive. Yeah, yes, I complicate things. I complicate my life, not only recovery but my life for sure. Doo-doo-doo. Kirsten, long term, sort of separated from the world. I mean, yeah, that's why I use drugs. I don't know if disassociation, like I wasn't like I was present in my body and I was uncomfortable, so I wanted to be outside of it, so I used drugs. Maybe I'm not totally understanding. I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that. We didn't get justice in court because your abuser killed himself after. No, same thing for me, Emerson. No, 2 weeks before he was to go to trial, he committed suicide in his holding cell as well. Yeah, nobody got. I mean, yeah, didn't turn out the way that it should have. Bob S. Bob S. Was it? I at the beginning of this, I got a PayPal donation from a Bob S. If that was you, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Mentioned being okay with massages, but due to my experience, do I have trouble with physical touch? No, I love physical touch. Did I? Yes. Did I have problems with it? Yes. I had extreme problems with it. Today, I love it. The more the merrier. I mean, as long as it's like Megan, I don't want like strangers coming up and touching me. But no, physical touch is amazing. Um, I have certain areas where I'm just like that make me uncomfortable, but overall, physical touch is a big thing for me. I need it. Country gospel music, Frank in Texas. I do listen. I do like worship music, gospel music, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I listen to country gospel music. I should check that out. What are you sorry about, Emerson? You're good. What helped me the most to get through recovery? So I'm not through it. I'm in it. I'm always going to be in recovery. That's why I got it tattooed on my arm. But what helped me the most in my recovery? Open-mindedness, willingness. The literature talks about it. Being open-minded that like I might not know everything was probably the biggest help. I don't know if Megan's paying attention here. She just came and peeked around the corner at me. Let me see. I don't know what that means. I know. You need to check out these messages. I'm removing messages. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still with you. So, yeah, Bob, I appreciate it so much. It helps huge. It was so generous, dude. I appreciate you so much. So we have been together now for an hour. Is there anything on anyone's mind that you feel like we haven't touched on today that we should? I do need to make my son some lunch. I would like to eat some lunch. But if there is something that you guys feel is pertinent or important to touch on before we call it a day, I would love to satisfy that need. Buffy, hi. I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep it up. Thank you so much for being here. Emerson, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Artie, I appreciate you as well. Yeah, I just had to kick somebody out here. Oh. Of course, Solo Sinner, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all your support. Help me with thumbnails, all the support in all the different ways. It's amazing. I am gonna sign off, everyone. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. By Tuesday, I'll have something out for you. I should put something out by Tuesday, maybe Wednesday latest, but I'll have another video. I love you guys. Thank you for being so kind to Megan and myself. Appreciate everything that you guys do and all the support and the love. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a good holiday tomorrow. If where you are, they celebrate it. Appreciate you guys. We love you.